Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at entrepreneurship,
Hmm.
but through a bit of a different lens.
Yeah, through lens of faith.
Exactly.
We're going to be looking at a fascinating YouTube interview with Ibrahim Alkurd.
Mhm.
He's a Palestinian entrepreneur who was featured on the Sohaib Ashraf channel.
Yeah, this is a really interesting one.
It is a really fascinating interview.
I think we'll be able to get a lot out of it as well.
Definitely. And this guy, Ibrahim, is really interesting because he's not just talking the talk. He actually has a successful business.
Yeah.
And his faith has really impacted his business journey.
And it's interesting as well because he started in business very early on,
He did.
even before he went to medical school.
Yeah.
He was doing Bitcoin arbitrage trading.
Yeah.
For those of us who don't know, could you break down what arbitrage trading is?
Okay, so imagine you're at a market
Okay.
and you see apples at one stall for $1 each,
Right.
and then at another stall, they're $2 each.
Okay.
You buy those apples from the first stall, and you immediately sell them at the second stall for $2 each.
You make $1 profit?
That's arbitrage trading,
Okay.
obviously on a much larger scale,
Okay.
but that's essentially what it is. And he was doing that with Bitcoin
Wow.
on different online exchanges.
Right.
So he was making a profit just by buying and selling.
Okay, and this is while he was still a student?
Yeah. He turned 1.7 thousand pounds into 12,000 pounds in 3 months.
Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah, it is.
What did he do with that money?
So that's what's really interesting is that he didn't just take that money and spend it.
Yeah.
He actually used that money to launch his first company.
Wow.
And that's really where his faith comes in
Mm-hmm.
because he wanted to make sure his first company was completely halal.
Right.
So he launched a cryptocurrency mining service provider.
Okay, so let's talk about halal a bit more.
Yeah.
Because I think it's a concept that a lot of people might not be familiar with.
Sure. So halal, in essence, just means permissible in Islam. And there are certain business ventures that might be considered haram or impermissible.
Would you give some examples?
Yeah, definitely. So businesses that involve alcohol or gambling or things like interest-based financing,
Right.
those would all be considered haram because they go against Islamic principles.
Yeah, and Ibrahim actually says in the interview that when he was at university, he saw a lot of haram activities going on around him.
Yeah.
And he really wanted to distance himself from that.
Yeah,
So he chose to focus on a halal business.
exactly.
Okay, so cryptocurrency mining, how does that fit into this framework?
So cryptocurrency mining can be considered halal
Okay,
because essentially what you're doing is you're using computing power
right.
to solve complex mathematical problems.
Okay,
And that helps to secure the cryptocurrency network, and people are willing to pay for that service.
so it's providing a valuable service,
Exactly.
and as long as it's done ethically and responsibly, then it could be considered halal.
Exactly.
Okay, so he went head first into this world of cryptocurrency,
He did.
which is a very technical field, to build his first business.
Yeah.
What does he say were the keys to his success, aside from his faith?
Well, he puts his success down to 3 things:
Okay,
passion, client focus, and tawakkul.
okay. Could you explain that last one, tawakkul?
Yeah, so tawakkul is an Arabic word,
Hmm.
and it basically means reliance on God.
So trusting in God's plan.
Exactly.
Okay, and we can definitely see his passion as well,
Yeah.
because in the interview he talks about how much he loves what he does,
Mm-hmm.
and he says that he works on his business almost every free minute that he has.
Yeah. He really puts his all into it.
But do you think that could be a problem as well?
In what way?
This intense dedication.
Yeah.
Could it lead to burnout?
Well, it's interesting that you say that because he does emphasize the importance of seeking knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
both Islamic and worldly.
So he's not just working all the time.
No,
He's taking time to learn and grow.
exactly. And he says that true success isn't just about financial gain.
Right.
It's about aligning your actions with your faith.
So for him, it's all interconnected.
Yeah, he doesn't see his faith and his business as separate entities.
Yeah.
They're completely intertwined.
And that's where the tawakkul comes in as well.
Exactly, because entrepreneurship, especially in a field like cryptocurrency,
Yeah, it's a very volatile market.
it's very risky
Yeah.
and it's very uncertain.
Mm-hmm.
So you really need to have that trust in God's plan.
Right.
And that's what tawakkul is all about.
Okay, so he's got this passion. He's got this tawakkul.
Mm-hmm.
And the third thing he mentioned was
Client focus.
client focus.
Yeah.
Okay, so Could you tell us a bit more about that?
Yeah, so for him, it's not just about delivering a service.
Okay.
It's about going the extra mile to really build relationships
Right.
and exceed expectations.
Okay, so it's about building those long-term connections
Yeah,
and really focusing on the needs of your clients.
exactly. And that's something that sets him apart from a lot of other entrepreneurs.
Okay, now this brings us to a really interesting point that Ibrahim makes. He thinks that a lot of Muslims stick to traditional career paths
Yeah.
because of this generational mindset that prioritizes stability over risk-taking.
Yeah, especially among immigrant families.
Yeah.
There's this emphasis on getting a stable job
Right,
and providing for your family.
right.
And that often means going into traditional professions.
Like medicine or law.
Exactly.
So Ibrahim is saying that this emphasis on playing it safe might actually be stifling entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah, he's saying that there's so much potential within the Muslim community,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not being fully realized.
Because people are afraid to take risks.
Exactly.
And he's actually a big advocate for encouraging children to pursue any halal field,
Yeah.
even if it's something outside the norm,
Like what?
like becoming a Twitch streamer, which is something that you wouldn't traditionally think of as a career path.
No.
But he's saying that as long as the content is halal,
Mm-hmm.
then there's no reason why Muslims should be pursuing these kinds of careers.
Yeah. It's a really interesting perspective.
It is. It's challenging that conventional thinking.
Yeah, definitely.
And it makes you wonder whether our definition of success should be broadened
Mm-hmm.
to encompass a wider range of passions and pursuits.
Definitely. I think that's a really important point.
Yep, I agree.
And it's something that we need to be talking about more as a community.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's about encouraging people to follow their dreams
Yeah,
and not be afraid to take risks.
as long as it's halal.
Exactly.
It's really interesting, isn't it? This idea that, you don't have to follow the traditional path
Mm-hmm.
and that you can actually be successful
Yeah.
by pursuing your passions.
As long as they're halal, of course.
Of course. So for those of us who are listening and are inspired by Ibrahim's story
Yeah.
and are thinking about taking that leap into the entrepreneurial world,
Mm-hmm.
what advice does he give?
Okay, so Ibrahim's advice is actually very practical.
Okay.
He emphasizes that you shouldn't be focusing on chasing money. He says you should be focusing on providing genuine value to your customers.
So find a problem and solve it.
Exactly. Find a problem that you're passionate about solving
Right.
and then focus on delivering a solution.
That really helps people.
Yeah. And he talks a lot about the importance of embracing failure.
Does he? Because it sounds like he's had his fair share of failures.
He has. He's very open about that.
Yeah.
He says he's probably had more failures than successes.
Wow.
He even talks about how his first attempt at starting a YouTube channel was a complete flop, and his classmates made fun of him,
Oh, no.
but he didn't let that discourage him.
Yeah, you gotta have that thick skin
You do,
if you want to be an entrepreneur.
definitely, because you're going to face rejection.
Yeah.
You're going to face setbacks.
You're gonna have people who doubt you,
Exactly.
but you can't let that stop you.
No, you have to keep going.
And that's what Ibrahim did.
He did. He used those early failures as learning experiences, and he says that's a really important part of the entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah, I can definitely relate to that.
Can you?
Yeah, I remember when I was in college, I tried to start a blog,
Okay.
and it just went nowhere. Nobody read it.
Yeah.
It was just a total flop.
Yeah.
And I was so embarrassed.
Yeah.
I almost gave up on writing altogether.
But you didn't.
I didn't. But it took me a while to kind of get over that,
Yeah.
that fear of failure.
Right. And I think that's something that a lot of people can relate to.
Yeah.
It's that fear of putting yourself out there
Mm-hmm.
and then not succeeding.
But Ibrahim's advice is basically just start.
Yeah.
Just dive in and gain experience
Exactly. Don't wait for the perfect time.
because there is no perfect time.
Exactly. Just start now.
And even if you're still in school
Mm-hmm.
or you're working a traditional job,
You can still start building your business on the side.
yeah,
And every step you take, every lesson you learn
is bringing you closer
to your goals.
to your goals.
Mm.
And of course, we can't forget about tawakkul.
No.
So it's about action combined with faith.
Yeah, you can't just sit back and pray for success.
Right.
You have to put in the work. Exactly. You have to put in the effort and then trust that God will guide you.
And that brings us back to this idea of the role of faith in business.
Yeah.
So for Ibrahim, it goes beyond just halal income, right?
It does. He says that pursuing halal income is about ensuring that your wealth is earned ethically.
Right.
And with barakah.
Baraka. Okay, could you explain what that means?
Yeah, so baraka is an Arabic word,
Hmm.
and it basically means blessings.
Up-
So it's about having God's blessings in your wealth.
So it's not just about the amount of money.
Yeah.
It's about how you earned it.
Exactly. He says he'd rather have £1 earned through honest means
Wow.
than £1 billion acquired through questionable practices.
That's a powerful statement.
It is. He's
Right.
basically saying that he would rather have nothing
Yeah.
than wealth that's been acquired through unethical means.
So his values are really important too.
They are. And he even talks about this hadith
Mm-hmm.
that emphasizes the importance of combining knowledge and wealth for good.
Okay.
So he doesn't believe in just accumulating wealth.
Right.
He believes in using it to benefit others.
To make a positive impact?
Exactly. And this is where his own spiritual journey becomes really relevant.
Okay. Because he wasn't always as practicing as he is today.
No, he wasn't.
So what happened?
Well, he describes it as a gradual process,
Mm-hmm.
driven by his pursuit of knowledge.
Both Islamic and worldly.
Exactly.
So he doesn't see those two things as being in conflict.
Not at all. He sees them as complementary.
And he's saying that as he learned more about his faith, he started to understand the deeper meaning behind the teachings
Yeah.
and how they could enrich his life.
Exactly.
And it wasn't a sudden change
No, it was a gradual process.
of incorporating Islamic practices into his life.
Yeah, he started small
Mm-hmm.
and then built up consistency.
And he mentions that hadith about the best acts of worship being those that are small and consistent.
Yeah.
So it's not about making these grand gestures.
Right.
It's about the everyday action.
Exactly. The small things that you do consistently,
Right.
that can make a big difference.
And for Ibrahim, that includes a very powerful morning routine.
It does. Tell me about it.
So he's a big believer in waking up for Fajr,
Yeah.
which is the pre-dawn prayer.
Mm-hmm.
And he says that there are a lot of blessings that come with waking up for Fajr.
And staying awake afterwards.
Yeah.
So he doesn't just pray and then go back to sleep.
No, he uses that time.
To recite Quran,
Okay.
to memorize hadiths,
Right?
and to do some personal study.
So he's starting his day with a spiritual foundation
Exactly. He's setting his intentions,
Mhm.
and he's prioritizing his connection with God.
before he even starts working.
Exactly. And he
Ah.
says that's when his mind is freshest.
Right.
So it's the best time for him to learn and grow.
Okay. Now, he's not just focused on his own spiritual growth.
No, he's not.
He's also very passionate about spreading positive messages online.
He is. He's built a large following on Instagram,
Wow.
and he uses that platform for dawah.
Dawah. So inviting others to Islam.
Exactly.
It's interesting how he's using social media,
Mm-hmm.
which can often be a very negative place,
Yeah.
to spread positivity and share his faith.
And he's very strategic about it.
Is he?
Yeah, he's built a team
Wow.
to help him post reminders.
Okay.
And he utilizes features like Reels to expand his reach.
But he's not doing it for the followers or the likes?
No, he says it's all about having a genuine intention.
Just bread good.
Exactly. He believes that even small acts of kindness
Mm-hmm.
can have a ripple effect.
So it's about creating a more positive online environment.
Exactly. And speaking of online environments,
Yeah.
we can't overlook his experience in the world of cryptocurrency.
Right, because he's been involved in crypto for over 10 years.
I've seen it all.
From the early days of Bitcoin
Mm-hmm.
to the rise of NFTs and the metaverse.
Yeah, he's a real veteran of the crypto space.
So for those of us who are still trying to wrap our heads around crypto,
Yeah.
what insights does he offer?
Well, he's actually quite cautious.
Is he?
Yeah, he's very clear about the fact that the crypto market is incredibly risky.
Right.
He says that a lot of coins are outright scams.
Really?
Yeah, and even the legitimate ones
Mm-hmm.
can be prone to extreme volatility.
So he's not saying that everyone should just jump into crypto.
No, he's urging newcomers to be wary of the hype
Okay.
and to do their research before investing any money.
And he also says that if you are going to invest,
Mm-hmm.
to stick to the well-established coins.
Yeah, like Bitcoin and Ethereum.
Okay, so the large cap coins.
Exactly.
Now, for those who are looking to go beyond just investing,
Yeah.
what advice does he give?
He says find ways to add real value to the crypto ecosystem.
Okay, so how can people do that?
Well, they could build products.
Okay.
They could provide services, or they could even find jobs in the crypto industry.
It's a rapidly growing industry.
It is. There are so many opportunities out there.
It's interesting how he's thinking about crypto beyond just its potential for financial gain.
Yeah.
He's looking at its wider implications
Mm-hmm.
and how it could be used to create value and opportunity.
Exactly. And one area he's particularly excited about
Yeah.
is the potential of cryptocurrency to revolutionize Islamic finance.
Okay.
He envisions a future where there are decentralized, interest-free financial products
Wow.
powered by blockchain technology.
So that Muslims can manage their finances in a way that aligns with their faith.
Exactly.
That's really interesting.
It is. It's a really exciting prospect.
Yeah.
And shows how innovative Ibrahim is.
Yeah.
He's always looking for ways to bridge his faith and his entrepreneurial pursuits.
So we've seen this with his halal businesses, his use of social media for dawah,
Yeah,
and now this idea of using crypto to create more ethical financial systems.
exactly. It's all connected.
So it seems like for Ibrahim, it's about finding ways to live your values in every aspect of your life.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, towards the end of the interview,
Yeah.
Sohaib asks him a really profound question.
What's that?
What are you most afraid of?
Oh, wow, that's deep.
It is.
What does he say?
So his answer really gets to the heart of his values.
Okay.
He says that his biggest fear
Mm-hmm.
is not doing enough for the people he loves.
Oh.
But then he clarifies that it doesn't just mean his family and friends.
Okay.
He's talking about the entire Muslim community, the Ummah.
So it's about his impact on the world.
Exactly. It's not about personal failure
Right.
or material loss.
Mm-hmm.
It's with the legacy he leaves behind.
Yeah, he wants to make a difference.
Yeah, he sees his life as a gift
Mm-hmm.
entrusted to him by God.
And he wants to use that gift wisely.
Exactly. He feels a responsibility to use it for good.
And this ties back to that idea of the ripple effect,
Right.
that even small actions can have a big impact.
Yeah, he doesn't think you have to be a superhero
No.
to make a positive contribution.
It's the little things that count.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Ibrahim's world,
Yeah.
what resonates most with you?
Well, there's just so much to unpack here.
Yeah.
You've got his entrepreneurial spirit, his unwavering commitment to his faith.
His perspective on cryptocurrency.
Yeah, and how it could actually change Islamic finance.
That's a big one.
It is. And his dedication to using his success to uplift others.
It's really inspiring.
It is.
Ibrahim's story shows us that success isn't a straight line.
No, it's not.
It's filled with twists and turns.
Setbacks, failures.
But it's about how we navigate those challenges that really matters.
It's about getting back up.
When you fall down.
Yeah, and learning from your mistakes.
And having that resilience.
Definitely.
And determination to keep going.
Yeah, and I think Ibrahim would say that the journey is much more meaningful when you ground it in your values.
Right. Whether that's faith or ethical practices.
Or a desire to make a positive impact on the world.
Now, before we go,
Yeah.
let's go back to that hadith that Ibrahim mentioned.
About the small, consistent acts of worship.
Exactly. How can we apply that to our own lives?
That's a good question.
What small, consistent actions can we take today
To move closer to our goals.
to deepen our faith?
Or just to make the world a little bit brighter.
It's so easy to get caught up in the big picture,
Yeah.
in the grand gestures.
But it's the everyday choices. The small steps that we take.
that really make a difference.
So what small step will you take today?
Until next time, keep exploring
Keep learning.
and keep striving to make a positive impact.
One step at a time.